For years now, this strange radio broadcast has been emitting from level 97 of the Backrooms. And what this broadcast translates to is probably one of the most unhinged, disturbing things that I've ever talked about in my 4 years of doing this. Save them, save them, save them, save them, over and over and over. So what does it all mean? What is wrong with this level, and why does it even exist? All those questions will be answered today in this video, and without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into this explanation of Backrooms level 97, shall we? So level 97 is the 98th level in the lore, and it's been classified as a class 3 survival difficulty because it is unsafe and unsecure and has a low entity count, but there's more to all that stuff than meets the eye. It's more dangerous. The part of the level that has been explored seems to be a very small island surrounded by a saltwater ocean. The island itself is covered in tufts of grass, and various scattered rocks and boulders dot the shorelines. There are steep cliffs on one side of the island, and the other side of the island kind of just slowly goes into the water. The other features of note on this small piece of land are, of course, the lighthouse that the level is known for, and a number of weathered old gravestones. At random intervals inside the level, new gravestones can actually appear, but I'll mention more on that later. Level 97 has no day or night cycle, and it is constantly stuck in this dark, gloomy, misty atmosphere. But literally the only thing of note on this small piece of land is the lighthouse here. There's literally nothing else. The weather on the island is not too crazy. There's no real clouds or anything like that, but there is usually that constant mist and fog that rolls through. On one side of the island is where the lighthouse is actually located. Now, the only problem is the interior and the inside of the lighthouse is unknown as of right now, and it hasn't been explored all the way. No one could really get into it before it disappeared, and I'll explain its disappearance later. But the main feature of the lighthouse was the light on the top of it that constantly and slowly spinned around. This is the only source of light that is on this level, and the light itself is not normal. It's said that any object that the light used to shine on would be destroyed and melted completely just by the light touching it. So the light slowly spins around, and whatever comes into contact with its light beam would just get incinerated. So it's not really a light, it's more of a laser, but you know. The ocean around this island and around the lighthouse stretches out for what's presumed to be an infinite distance. Although it's not known how big it is known that the level is not infinitely deep. There's actually a bottom to the ocean, it doesn't just go down. Offshore in the water on the left side of the island is an old sailboat that just sits in the water. This sailboat is frozen in time, and that pretty much means that the waves and the wind and the water did not move it at all. It's just stationary, sitting there in the water. Nothing can change what happens to the boat. It's always just there. And because of this, the sailboat is safe to explore, safe to get on, if you can kind of swim out in the water and get there. And because of that, some wanderers actually use it as the outpost on this level, and they can sleep and kind of just spend the night here to get through the level. The island itself is home to a very small population of humanoid-like entities known only as ghouls. These ghouls are less human and more so zombied, and they do resemble zombified corpses that are extremely decomposed. It's almost to the point where they're falling apart and they're just made out of bones. These ghouls are really enigmatic in nature, and they seem to work as kind of a hive mind. When a ghoul sees a wanderer, it'll start walking towards them at a very slow pace. You can outrun the ghouls if you have to, but there are a ton of them, and they crawl and walk everywhere, so the best choice of action would be to not get cornered by one at all. If you can avoid this main island entirely, that would be the smart thing to do. Kind of just go out and stay in the boat. You don't want to mess with all the dangers here, the ghouls, the light that could burn you, all that stuff. Now, the ghouls and the light seem to be connected in a weird, almost esoteric way, almost as if the light helps the ghouls hunt. By shining on different things, the ghouls will go to it. And if the ghouls catch something, they actually sacrifice their prey to the light by putting it directly in the beam and then melting whatever it is. So it's very weird, very unnatural, almost very H.P. Lovecraft, if you've heard of that. and it's very unsettling. But the most unnatural, the most odd thing about this level is what I mentioned back in the intro, and it's the radio broadcast that can be picked up here inside of the level's confines. The broadcast signal is constantly playing a Morse code that just says save them, save them, save them over and over and over and over again, and it's done this forever. The signal is present at all times in the level and at all areas in the level, and no one knows exactly where it comes from, although some people do speculate that it used to come from inside the lighthouse. It might also come from a crashed ship or a boat somewhere out in the ocean. We don't know. There are a few audio logs of people that have gone missing on this island and people that have been consumed by the light from the lighthouse, and you can read all of that in the description below if you'd like to. It just explains a little bit more of what you already know and what I just said. Just know that it's dangerous here, there's weird light, there's ghouls, and there's a strange radio transmission. That's all you need to know. Now, out of all of what I just read to you, that was the initial level page. That's what it used to be. But after a Meg member named Alice experienced something very weird, kind of this shifting event on this level, the level experienced a big change. Alice was never seen again, and she actually ended up getting lost, and the level does not look the same as it used to. It does not look how I just described it. At this point, and in the modern day, the entirety of level 97 is just the island, with no ghouls, no lighthouse, and the broken remains of the sailboat that I mentioned earlier. So the boat is now broken, all the lighthouse is gone, and the ghouls are also gone. The island now has 17 exact gravestones with flowers growing around them here. And at this point, that is all there is on the island. All the stuff that was there is now gone, and whatever happened to Alice and the other Meg members seem to have shifted or collapsed the level in a certain way. But what happened to Alice is just one of the many mysteries that level 97 has to offer. You know, like, what was the light from the lighthouse? How could it melt anything it touched? What were the ghouls? How'd they get there? Were they old lighthouse keepers? Are they marooned pirates? I don't know. Who put the gravestones there? Why was there a boat that was wrecked here? We just do not know the answer to pretty much any of these questions. Nonetheless, it's a cool level with a cool aesthetic, and it seems like H.P. Lovecraft might have written it. Alright, that was it for this level's explanation, level 97 of the Backrooms, the level with the strange radio broadcast. I love when levels do that kind of stuff, and it just adds those weird, enigmatic features to it that others don't have. But thank you for watching nonetheless to the end. If you did enjoy, leave a like, I'd appreciate it. Thank you all for all the support you give me, and all the support on all my channels, Broogly, Toogly, and Spoogly. 2025 is about to be crazy. Hopefully y'all are ready for that. Without more yapping on and more blabbering, I'll go ahead and end off the video here. Hopefully have a great day. Tell somebody you love them, because life's too short not to. And with all that said, bye-bye.